Okay, thank you. So for today's section, we're having Moses O2. It's going to take us on topic Power App applications. So let me just give you a little bit description about Moses. So Moses is a human capital analyst and also a Power App developer. Moses O2 is also a graduate of electrical electronics engineering with over 2 years working experience. That's interesting. Most electrical guys are always going into Power Apps and data now. Also, Moses is also a data analyst for Sterling Bank. So, Moses, I'll hand over to you now, so you can start your presentation.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
so I'll
much.
stop sharing my screen. I'll stop.
That's
So I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay.
All right. Thank you very. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Just see if I can. Hello. Can everyone hear me? All right.
I can hear you.
Thank you very much. Okay, yeah, my name is Moses, as Pinda has mentioned, and I'll be going straight into the topic we have for today, and which is on Power application. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, your screen is visible. Yes.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'll be talking on Power applications, and one of the best ways to learn these tools is by doing. And a brief intro to what Power application is. Power application is a low-code system that makes use of the Microsoft Power FX language. That's the language that is used on Power applications. And one of the key features of Power applications is Power applications are connected to Power applications are connected to data sources, and data sources like Excel, SharePoint, and CDS, which is the common data source, or Dataverse. But one of the most, if you are not an IT person, you might not have access to use features like to use SQL and Dataverse. So and Excel for me is not that efficient working. If you use Power applications, Excel is not a very efficient data source or a database. I prefer to use SharePoint. SharePoint works seamlessly. You can do several tuning from applications. You can tune your SharePoint using Power applications. So I prefer to use Excel as a data source or a database. Okay, so let's get right into it. So I would be using SharePoint, like I mentioned, and so what we are going to be doing is we are going to be creating a simple application, and I am going to create my SharePoint list. The SharePoint list is going to contain the SharePoint list is going to contain my data source and what exactly I'm looking for. And what the application we are building is, we are building an application for a restaurant. Take, for example, you own a restaurant and you have people who come in to dine with you, and you want to create like a form where you send out to people who have dined with you, asking them about the services you've rendered, asking them about the food you've rendered. So, to create such form, it would look like this. Let me quickly sign into my SharePoint. Okay. Pardon me, I'll quickly use. Okay, so we are creating a blank list. So let's give our SharePoint list a name. Let's name it restaurants. Okay, and this is what it's going to look like. What it's going to contain. I would like it to have an ID. Okay. Then I would like for my list to contain what else? Let's see. How did you find the customer service? To be a choice. My choice type, you can change the type of text box you want, the type of column you want. It's either a single text, single line of text, multiple line of text, number, or likes. I would like it to be a choice because I want people to be able to choose one or two items from it. So that's what my list is going to contain. The next will be, how did you find your meal? How did you find your meal? So I've also selected a choice. So let's quickly try one other column type. So add column. So that would be, okay, let's use a yes and no option. So I would give my column a name. Would you prefer, would you, right, and thus. So we've used three column types. We've used two column types, rather, choices and yes and no. And let's use one more, which is a multi-line of text. So let's name that any recommendations. Okay, so now that we've created our column types, this is what is going to be. This is going to be the backend, which is also going to hold our database. So the next thing is to move on to the app creation and quickly. So the go-to site is makethepoweраpp.com. And it's important that you have an account with Microsoft. Most times, the organization you work with provide this, but if the organization doesn't provide, you can easily create an account for a small token. So we are creating the application from a canvas because we are using a list. And what format are we going to use? Are we going to use a tablet or a mobile phone format? Let's use a mobile phone format. Okay, let's give application a name. The application should still be, let's just name it REST. Okay. All right, so this is how the Power Application looks like. We have the tree view. The tree view is going to contain your screen. So whatever you are doing here on this canvas, the middle part of it, this canvas is going to be listed here. So the first thing to do is, since we have created a list, the first thing is to connect our Power Applications to whatever data source we have. You can connect your, let's check the connectors. So this is add data. This is where you click to add data. There are several connectors for Power Applications. You can see from your Microsoft Data Vault CDS, from these are still CDS environments. So for your connectors, workflows or approval or Bing map, but what we created was a SharePoint. So we would search for that connector. So you can also connect to Excel, export from Excel. That's if your data is in Excel, you can also import from there, but we created our database on a SharePoint site. So there we have it, SharePoint, okay. So it's connected. So what is it's asking, so we've connected to SharePoint, but it is asking for the where it is located. So what we'll do is this. Go to our SharePoint. We just copy the link from where we created the SharePoint list, then paste here. and click on it. Then we named it restaurants. Connect. So it's loading here. So you can see that our application is connected, and I'm using the organization's account. So it's important that that if your organization doesn't provide, you can create one for yourself. Okay, so we've connected our data source. So the next thing is to try and populate our canvas or screen with that data source. So we have our screen here, and so we are designing an application for a restaurant. So what I want to do is I want this to be my landing page. And I want to give my landing page a body, something to beautify it. So I can insert a media. I have downloaded the media already, the image already. So fill it up, fill up the screen. So you can click play or F5. That is to show you how the screen would operate in full time. So we have this. Then, okay, this is it. So what image do we want to fit in? Add an image. I have them downloaded here. So this is it. Open it up. Should load any time from now. So just a brief recap while it loads. Okay, it's loading here. Before it loads, we created a data source using SharePoint. We created the columns that is required, and then we opened up Power Applications and imported our database, which is SharePoint. So I've imported the image, the landing page image for our applications. Okay. Then I want to add another screen where my form will be located. So I'm adding an empty screen. So right here I have this, and I want that when anybody lands on this page, they should be able to navigate to the next page, which is going to contain the form. So what I need to do is to include a button. Include a button, and let's just rename the button as login. Just double click on it. So now we have our button here, and what I want this button to do for me is that when anybody clicks this button, it's going to lead the person directly to the next page, which is the forms page. So I'll just need to change the property of this button. Just click on it, and then go down here to the property pane of your Power App and search for onSelect. There are several properties you can change here. You can change the auto disable onSelect, border color, border style. But what we are really interested in is onSelect property. That is what's going to happen when an individual or a customer clicks on the button. So when anybody clicks on the button, what we want is we want the person to be navigated to. So we have navigate where it's asking us for the target, and our target is screen 2. So we just write target is screen 2. Then close the bracket. You can add other features like screen transition. Transition, and let's give it feed. That is that. So you can see that once someone clicks on the link and lands on this landing page, if he clicks the login button, it goes directly to this next page. Okay, that's awesome. So we have this. So what do we want on our second screen? What we want on this screen is this is where the form is going to be located. So let's input the form. So we have this screen, then we click addition, add. We are bringing in a form. So we click on edit form. So what we've done here is by clicking the form, we have introduced the form that we created into this screen. So let's just populate it as increase it and increase the length of it. So it's asking us here, let's go back to our tree view. So this is our screen 1 containing the image and the login button. This is our screen 2, and this is the form. So we've introduced the form, and it's asking us here, if you come to the right part of the screen, it's asking us here for the data source. So it's asking, where is your data source? I know that we've created a data source and included it on the application, so we just create this data source. And you would see that what we created on the SharePoint list is going to be populated here. It's going to be populated here. You can see this increase. Okay. So you can see we created, although this is a title that we can remove. Let's remove this title from, we don't want title. So what we have is, how did you find the customer service? The ID has been created automatically by SharePoint, so it doesn't need to be included here. How did you find customer service? How did you find your meal? Would you invite your friends? This and any recommendation. So one more thing I forgot to add is that we did not include any option. We just had choice 1, choice 2, it doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the options that are required here. So you can go back to our form and just click your J icon and go to list setting. I'm in the place. I'll go to list settings. So on the option, the column we had was how did you find the customer service? So we click on it, and then this is where we can include our choices. So our choice is going to be how did you find the customer service? We're going to use a Likert scale, which is going to be very unsatisfied. We can also have unsatisfied and neutral, right? I'm getting this going right. Yes, satisfied and very satisfied. We are also going to need this for the next column, so we can just copy this and then click OK. Okay, then the next column would be how did you find your meal? Same thing is very unsatisfied with it, very satisfied. But this is just an example. This is not a real case. You can have whatever, like a skill, whatever option you need. So we have that also, and then okay. We can go back to our restaurant. Then all we just need to do is refresh our data source. You can see once we do this, we can see we have our options populated already. Yeah, and this. So another beautiful thing about Power Applications is you can make changes here on the form. It's not going to affect what you have here, but it's just going to affect, you can call it the user interface. So you can change the user interface and it's not going to have any direct effect here. It's just going to change how the user will feel or see your form. So I do not want my users to have this drop down. I want them to see everything listed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click this. Okay, so this is our form. So we've added our data source to the form, and we can see that our columns are listed here under the forms. How did you find? Would you invite? Any recommendations and attachments? You can also remove this attachment. I don't think it's needed, or we can leave it in case our clients have whatever they want, also pictures that they've taken. Okay. So I do not want my clients, my customers to see this. I want them to see a list so they can just pick and select. So what we can do here is we can just select this data cards. And if there's time, we can talk about data card value. Data card value just represents the columns from the data source. So I want to change this to a list. I come here to input and I have lists. So unlock and add. So I just want to move everything that I have here into this new list that I'm creating. So what I just do is I just click on this and it shows me the items that are contained in this data card. So I can copy that and include them here. This is an sample. So you can see once I did that, I have whatever was in here populated here. So I don't need this any longer. Can cut this out. And unfortunately, we have an error. So what this error is saying is that since we copied whatever we had on that, the text box, not text box, the what's it called again? The combo box, the drop-down box that we had, some of the values are also populated here, and we need to change that to represent this new list box. So I'll just copy the value here. It is now a list box. It is no longer a data card value. So click on the edit, the error message. The error message also has like a drop down. So just click on it, edit formula. You can see that the data card value of the drop down we deleted is also here. So we need to change that to represent this list box. So we just need to change that list box. So one more error to go. So change that also. Change that. So you can see we have our beautiful. So we can just do few edits here. Let's say, what do I need this to be like? So I want to change the position to 68, the y-axis to be 78. Okay, what else do I need? You see, I'm changing the properties of it, and it's not going to have any direct effect on our SharePoint list. So I want this to be a little longer. 368. Then the height should be let's say 506, 500. Bam, you can see what we have here. So this is a little too long. Just keep it down. Beautiful. So we have this now. So my users can just select whatever they want to select here. From what I see here, I see that users can select multiple items, but I do not want that. I want them to be able to select only one item at a time. So what I can do is I will just check for one of the properties, which is termed select multiple. The default is true, but I want that to be false, so my users can only select just one item. So that, let's see how it goes. Just one. Yeah, beautiful. So you can do the same thing here. Let me just quickly do that. Build, I want a list. Unlock and add. Okay, I copy the item listed here and paste it here. Beautiful. So we have whatever is here in here, but I do not need this any longer. I can cut it out. Then I take the name property of this list box to the box, so copy that. Then try and effect on this error. Change. Then this same error. So let me just quickly do the editing here. Let's make this beautiful. Okay, beautiful. So this is nice. So I just want them to have the same length. So you can see here, you can see what we have here already. We have whatever we created. So let's just quickly create. So now this is a very simple formula. There are several other edit things you can do to make this beautiful. So the next thing we will do is, okay, I need to remove this attachment. So just click on your form, go to edit fields. You can add more items by creating more items in SharePoint, add more items, or you can rearrange this in any way you want it to be. And you can also remove. I want to remove this attachment. I don't need this anymore. So I have that removed. Awesome. So what I want to do is, okay, now that my customers can select whatever they want to select, how are they going to submit the form? So what we will do is we'll create a submit form button. Remember, we created one button to navigate customers to this screen. The next thing is to create a button that would enable them submit the form. So yeah. So what I need from here is I want a situation where when my customers click on this submit button, the form will be submitted and I will receive it here at the back end. And one of the default properties with SharePoint is that the title field is always set to required. You can set your items to required if you want this item, any particular item or column to be required. That is, without them filling the form or signing or clicking on anything, the form wouldn't be able to submit. You can just change the property, come to the properties field and search for required. You can see required here is set to false. If I want this to be a compulsory field, I'll just change this to true. But it's fine. So as I was saying, the default property of SharePoint is that this title field is always set on required, and I do not have any need for it, so I can just turn that off. Still go back to list setting. So title, you can see it's marked required here, and I want to change that. So require that this column contains information. No. Okay. So you can just simply do refresh. So everything is fine. Okay, so now what I want is to create the submit button. It's as simple as, okay, my on select feature. I told you, as I said, there are several features you can change here. Okay, I want to change the shape of this button to something more, more beautiful. Let's see my padding button. Let's give it 50. I'm looking for not padding button. I'm looking for here for radius. Radius bottom left. Let's say 50. Radius bottom right 50. Radius top left 50. Top right. You can see that the shape has changed and it's more beautiful than it was before. So let's quickly create that submit form button. So I want a situation, like I said, once the customer clicks on this button, he submits the form and I get the information right here on my back end. So what I'll just do is I'll look for the unselect property, and just some false. That's nothing is required. I'll just change that to submit form, and it's asking what form am I submitting. My form name is form 1, so I have form 1 and this. Okay, so that is set. So let's see if whatever we are doing is correct. So how did you find my customer service? Very unsatisfied. How did you find your meal? It was neutral. Would you invite your friends? Okay, let me just quickly change this radio button because it can be a little confusing. My radio button here, unlock and add. I want a simple yes or no. Okay. Or it's fine. If I just let that be, figure that out later. So we have this. Would you invite your friend? So the default is on, which was what it was set default on our SharePoint this. So no question. Let me just try something quick here. Please. Trying to search for a property. Okay, it's found. So that means we would need to change that from our SharePoint list. But because of time, let's just let it be. So any recommendation here? Yes, you guys would need to up your game. So I click on submit. Yeah. So that's that. We still need to change some of the properties, but if you see here, just refresh, you can see that our list is populated already. We have our ID, the first item. How did you find your meal? Very unsatisfied. How did you find the food? Neutral. Would you invite someone here? Yes. And yes, you guys would need to step up your game. So like I said, to change that property, let me just quickly. So I don't want this yes on that side. I want a choice, and that choice is going to be yes. Save. Saved. So what I just need to do here is refresh. Let's add it again. Form, edit fields. Would you recommend your friend? So let's see what that error is. Expected boolean. So it will take a while for it to really come up, but from what we can see here is we have created a Power Application, we've created a database, we've created a Power Application. So it's very easy. You just create a link. So what you just need to do is save on the cloud, save on the computer as an application, and then copy the link and send to your customers, clients, or across your organization. Yeah, so this is a very simple and really rush stuff. There are several things we can do. We can create a rating scale. That is, if you select this item, we'll create a score for it, and then we can find the average. And we've not really, we didn't really use much calculations here. Maybe next time. But that's all I have for today. A very simple application from a very simple data source. Thank you very much. Would there be any questions?
Wow. Awesome section, Moses. Yeah. Moses, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. I said awesome section. So is there any question in the house so far? Any question?
Please post the YouTube link back to the comment section, please.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see Rahman is typing maybe a question. Rahman.
Okay, yeah. Toby, do you have any question for him? Since you're also a Power Up person.
I just spoke.
Okay.
Maybe after Ramon.
Okay, can I say something?
Okay,
yes,
your floor is yours, Ramon.
So,
questions, additions.
Yeah. I just wanted to make some additions. Like, I'm very happy to be part of this section. I've always procrastinated about joining the Power BI office hour because of the time that usually falls in. Immediately I saw the title for today's section, I just looked at it that this is a must be. And I'm very, very happy that I'm part of this section. And even though I joined at the middle, uh, I'm looking forward to go and rewatch the video of the section because it's feels very informative. Now my question is, because the company I work with, they're using, I don't really know the kind of package they're using, but anytime I try to do something like Power App, the storage location seems like is um the company's server, and I get a warning from them saying that the location at which the
Is it
is
is it what? An
company's.
SQL server?
No, I mean it's company's is on the company's account, obviously, but each time I try
Okay.
to create an app, it gives me a warning back like after 3 days saying that the location is gives me warning that is related to the locations that it is not allowed there.
Oh wow.
So and it doesn't feel like, even though if I try to save the application offline, it doesn't mean the application is going to be running from my desktop. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So I don't even know how this is, because since the time I've had that issue, I just had to just keep learning about Power Apps
Forget
just
about it, away.
exactly so that I don't raise alarm from another country.
Okay, yes. So what happens is it depends most times on the license that your company would give you. You know, there are some applications that will not run if you don't have the required license for. Unfortunately for me, I require the license I'm using contains this Power Applications, Power Automate, or Power Flow, and SharePoint. So it's mostly depends on it. Maybe you don't have the required license for it, or maybe the database in which, for example, for SharePoint, for example, you need to be allowed access to the SharePoint to be able to use it, even your CDS. If your organization or the admin of your organization, your SharePoint admin, doesn't include you in the directory, you may not be able to use any of the services, might not be able to create a service, a database rather, or be able to work using Power Apps. So if you really need to use Power Applications and you see that it would further your business, why don't you? I mean, this is just a very simple application. I mean, there are varied uses of Power Applications that, I mean, if you look at it, you look like your typical application built using other programming languages. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So if you really need to do that, why not write to your organization asking them, just to maybe asking them for a license or something.
I think I'll just have to just buckle up and have to speak with them, because it's not that can't create. I can use Power Automate. I've used Power Automate.
Yeah,
I've used
fine.
some of
That's
the
fine.
other stuff. But the stuff is that the warning I get is complaining about the location at which the application I'm using is being stored. It's like is
Oh,
the root directory of the company's something. So
oh.
it's, but I was
If you,
just trying to just push the mail to the IT department, because I used to be with
exactly.
the IT and administrative job because I needed to try something new. So
All right, it's fine, man. Just reach out to
I'll
them and let
get
them.
back. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Oh, thanks, Abdurrahman. So, I did Dayo's answer. I hope. I did Dayo.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
evening.
good.
Yeah, please forgive my layman question. The organization I work for does not use Microsoft, so we use Gmail and all that. But I have a Microsoft account that SharePoint is not part of the license.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
from your explanation, the only alternative for me, because I'm looking at this is my first time of, or probably my second time of having or attending such a training, and I can say this particular one is very, very interesting. Now, I'm looking at running an initiative this week with this stuff. Now, the only alternative I have is Excel. How do I set
Yes,
the
sure.
question on Excel before uploading? And
Okay,
then,
yeah,
okay,
go on,
can I
please.
ask the second question? Okay,
Yes, yes.
and how do I, the responses now, in what form are the responses going to come for me to probably analyze and all that?
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, I would have shared how to do that using Excel, but unfortunately, there are several private data on the Excel for my company, which I might not be able to share that. So what you need to do is for Excel, connecting Excel to Power Application is to mostly create. If you are working on Excel offline, just create the columns. Create the columns using your Excel, then upload it to a drive, your on Drive. Yeah, upload it on Drive, then copy the link from there. Then when you come to Power Application, and that's when you now, and in your data, in your add data, then you can add data connectors and search for Excel. Yes, no, not Excel. Search for OneDrive. Any of the drive you're using, if it is any of the drive for business or a personal drive. Once you connect your drive, it will ask you for a link automatically. So choose you can see here. Once you connect your drive, it will ask you to choose an Excel file that you've uploaded on it. Then choose your Excel file and start working from it. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
but
So
I think that wouldn't work on the personal stuff. It would work on enterprise accounts. So we might have to look for another option.
Okay, Adrama, you're saying the Excel won't work on a personal account?
On personal, yes, it only works on enterprise.
Okay, well, wow.
A paid version of it doesn't work on personal. I've tried it. That was the first place I tried.
Oh wow.
We had to
All
check
right,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I've mostly worked on my organizational account. All right, it's fine, thank you.
Okay, I think Toby's hands are up. Toby.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Good evening. Thanks, Mr. Moses, for this wonderful section. I think he's part of my contact list. I've seen some of his great works. I'm delighted to be in this section. Okay. So my question. Okay. First, I also want to thank you for some. I'm part from developer as well, but through your section, I've learned some new things, like your the drop down lists. I use this. I just use it more like a drop down. I don't convert it to list. Most times, and also about the selecting multiple and making it false or true. So all of those are new knowledge that go from the section. So thanks a lot. So my question, so you're talking about using SharePoint. Yes, I use SharePoint a lot, but the truth is that many organizations already use Excel. So telling them to move their they might need to start getting licenses and all of that to move to SharePoint and all of that, and some of them might not want to go through this stress. So some of them already have their data source on Excel. But there is also Excel Online, which I feel is easier for them to move their. I feel it's easier for them to move their work from Excel to Excel Online. Can't they also work with Excel Online? Like a question, can't also work with Excel Online together with the Power Apps? And what's the limitation to what you can do on Excel Online? That you limitation to what you can do on Excel Online. That is, since you can do on SharePoint, but because it's Excel Online, you are limited. So that's my question. I hope you get that.
Okay, yes. Yeah. Well, personally, I love working because I also work as a data analyst and I enjoy working with Excel. Excel Online, the limitation for Excel Online in connection with Power Applications is not much, meaning that whatever you can do on your SharePoint, you can also do on your Excel Online. Your Excel Online will just serve as a data storage like a database, or you can create something to populate on it. And I think with SharePoint, well, I would say it's mostly the same thing, because you can also restrict. I was thinking of restricting people, because you can also restrict people on SharePoint, or can also restrict people on Excel online. But from my experience using SharePoint, I have tried working on using some formulas, or how would I put it? Yes, I tried using a formula and it didn't work using my Excel online, but I was able to get that using SharePoint. I wonder why that was. I could, although with your PowerPoint, you can add and you can delete features of the database. That's if your database is on Excel online, you can add and you can delete. Same also as SharePoint, and you can also count. But on that, I didn't really dig further to find out why that calculation didn't work. But I don't know if I can do more research and find that out. Maybe I'll share with Temi Dayo, and they'll probably share with you guys. But on the differences, I believe the differences are very little, and you can replace SharePoint with Excel online. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so Tom, did that answer your question?
Oh yes, thanks.
Okay. So me, I also have a question to Moses. Okay. For me now, I have not really gone too deep into Power Apps. I won't lie to you. I think 2 weeks ago, I just started using Power Automate after Toby had a presentation with us, and I've been seeing so many possibilities with it. So many possibilities. So I still plan like further in the nearest future in using the app itself. So, and also, Moses, we have 2 questions we usually ask all our guests before we end the section. So, are you down for it?
Questions, Abi?
Yeah. So, the first question we used to ask them is, can you tell us how you start your journey in your whole field in Power Apps, data analytics, and everything? And the last question will be, what advice do you have for people that want to start the Power Apps and data analytics in general?
Okay, well, thankfully, I have one of my, would I say, mentors here. He's on this call, Josiah. His own reason of his funny. So the thing is, I started as a data analyst, using basic data analytics tools. So there was a problem in the organization, and they required something different from Microsoft Form. Like I did here, this screen, you can't achieve it using your Microsoft Form. So they said they wanted something different from the Microsoft Form, and how would I do that? Then I started researching on Power Applications, and I stumbled on how you can replicate Microsoft Forms on Power Applications. So I started by replicating whatever I was doing on my Microsoft Forms on my Power Applications, and adding features like images and videos. You can add videos in your Power Application. So I did that. I just replicated what I had on my forms on Power Application, but I included, the buttons. I also included some there's something in Power Apps, what's it called, that when you click on an answer, the next question just pops out. That I just did something like that. And then whenever I had any issues, I always had someone who I could easily call up. Fortunately, he's on this call. Maybe we would schedule him for another session. So he was always there, his experience. He knows all the Power FX formula. So I just ask him, how would you do this? And he'll give me insights, and I run with it. He's a very wonderful person. So I leveraged on asking a lot of questions. I mean, no matter how much I know, I still have people that I will still run to ask questions. And these are men who have developed larger enterprise applications, included with Automate and every other thing like that. So I started as a data analyst, as I said. Then when problems arises, I tend to, using YouTube. I leveraged on YouTube, documentation, Stack Overflow, Power Power Applications group, and also leverage on asking questions. So that is how my career progression has been, and that's how I learned and applied those things. Thank you.
Wow, thanks. So the last question was, what advice do you have for younger ones don't dive into the Power Up career?
Oh yeah,
Power Platform in general.
very good. I would take the word directly from the mouth of Josiah. Josiah is on this call. Please, you guys should hold him. What he told me, one thing he said is that everything depends on logic. Everything depends on logic. Understand the logic, and then you just see the formulas. Because, like in Power BI, you are really not designing anything if you do not know your DAX formulas, your DAX language. Same also as your Power Applications. You design a very simple form. It will not be that intuitive if you do not write formulas, your Power FX formulas. So number one, if you want to come on Power Applications because you're going to write a lot of formulas, is understand that it is first built on logic. Understand the logic. Express the logic in English or Yoruba. For example, you want to say that, okay, I want a situation whereby if I click this button, this next question should pop out, and I want it filtered in alphabetical order. If you can express it in English, then you can start writing the formula. And once you've expressed the end formula, then you can start including the conditions. I think I tweeted about that. You write your formula, then start including your condition. Your conditions can be your if statement. Okay, you're writing that submit this form. Submit form 1. If so and so is not empty. If so and so, you understand. So number one, understand that everything is based on logic. And number two, logic, and ensure that you include your conditions after you use it formula. Yeah.
Oh wow. So Josiah Joseph, you had your hands were up the other time.
Yeah, okay. I have casted you. It's not asking
Okay, no problem. So for everyone asking about today's section, so today's session will be available on our YouTube channel by tomorrow. So I've dropped the link on the chat box below. Also, I dropped the link on Moses O2 on the chat channel on the chat box below. So you can if you want to get in touch with Moses, you can just click on the YouTube channel on his LinkedIn. Actually, sorry, it's LinkedIn. So I dropped his LinkedIn profile over here. So you can always connect with him on LinkedIn and ask him whatever question you want. So I also want to drop a feedback form.
Thanks a lot, Moses. And I know you mentioned someone that we should reach out to him, Josiah. So
yeah,
it will be a pleasure for us to have you as one of our guests. This is the best way. We don't even ask questions or try to do any search anymore. If one of our speakers says, you know what, go grab this person, we know that we should start running a 200km/h race towards the person. So this is us running to you. So it would be cool to have you on one of our sessions. I know Ifeanyi is maybe he's going to get in touch with you about next available slot, but I hope you are okay with presenting to us.
I think he's offline or something.
He's on mute, actually.
Okay, he's on mute. Josiah. Okay,
so maybe we'll also grab the...
Okay, you responded in the chat box. Said it's fine, sir.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
It says background is noisy.
It's a pleasure. Thanks a lot. And thanks very much to Moses. It's been a very enjoyable session. I just wanted to chime in to tell me that actually this is the next natural next step for us in terms of what we are building on the Microsoft form. Because truly, Power Apps is where it should be. Okay, so that's me. That's what I wanted to chime in to say.
Okay, so I also dropped Josiah's LinkedIn. If anyone is connected with him. Okay, so bye guys. We're done for today. Bye. Moses, thank you again for coming.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for coming in late. I really
No problem, no problem, no problem, no problem. But thank you very much. Bye guys.
Yeah, bye.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, bye. Thanks.
Yeah.